network, y'all.
It's Neesha's network, yeah, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go. It's Neesha's network, yeah, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go.
Connect and feel the vibe. Connections make you feel alive. We do this every day. Let's put your business on display. Network, let's heal and pray. It's our love, we here to stay. Trust in God, He'll lead the way. We on right now, no need to wait. Let's go. It's Neesha's network, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's morning here in the Chicagoland area, and I am grateful to have my very special guest, none other than the amazing anointed therapist of the season. That's what I'm going to call her, Mrs. Natalie Allen. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Neesha. Thank you for having me today.
I'm so grateful that you are here. And I say therapist of the season because I just believe God sends people, and we've known each other for many, many years. But I think in this season, I think that our relationship has grown and is still yet growing, but also growing not just through for me and you, but just for people who need peace of mind. And that's what we entitled this segment today, Peace of Mind. And Natalie, you've always had such a peaceful demeanor, very calm. To have as many children as you have, you just seem like you're just so cerebral, so serene. And that's such a
Oh,
blessing. Now, I'm sure there's mommy moments and everything, but before we dive into peace of mind, let's go ahead and have you just to introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and what you do and who you're married to, the children, just a little bit personal stuff about yourself.
absolutely. You already mentioned Natalie Allen. My husband and I, Jason, have been together for 29 years this October. Married 20. I know, thank you. Married 24 of those 29 years. We have four beautiful children, three bonus children, and we live on the south side of Chicago, born and raised in the south suburbs. And we're both business owners. So we're both blessed to be parents, I should say, as well as business owners. So life is interesting.
Wow, life is interesting. Well, being self-employed, first of all, business owners, tell us a little bit about that. How is that being both of you all having to run your own businesses?
Man, some days it is seamless transition from one thing to the another, wearing one hat to the next hat. And other days it just feels like a Chinese fire drill. Kids are flying in different directions. We both have responsibilities with not just managing and administration pieces of the business, but also working within the business because they are smaller organizations. So we wear multiple hats. So I can honestly say it's just simply by the grace of God that we get through week to week, day by day, hour by hour. And I feel like the Holy Spirit is phenomenal because He keeps me um, in the moment and reminded of things that I may not have written down or I have written down, just didn't have an opportunity to look at to remind myself. So,
Yes, great the grace that's on our
mm,
life. So let's talk about, tell us what really made you choose the profession of being a therapist. What was that? Because we know you're of God, but tell us why you chose that field.
just frankly, it wasn't a field that I can honestly say I chose initially. I knew that at a very young age, I wanted to be an advocate for people, and I thought that that was an attorney. By the time I went on to college, then it became a different profession. But throughout my lifespan, I believe that God has placed me in certain situations where people would come to me with certain concerns, worries, and whatnot, and we would talk through those things, and the Holy Spirit would provide that resource of wisdom, of understanding, of all of it. And then the profession, you know how they say your gifts will make room for you. the
Yeah.
gifts definitely made room in a different sort of way. I feel like God was chasing me relentlessly, and I was running. and
Wow.
then and then finally I said, okay, I don't have peace, no more running. Let me really sit and listen and hear what God is trying to tell me. And he told me in a multitude of ways, through people, through encounters, through various situations, and he brought me into counseling. And so I said, well, if I'm going to be a counselor, I don't want to just be a secular counselor. I want to be a Christian counselor. And at the time,
Wow.
I thought just counseling Christians specifically, and because my prayer was, God, I want to counsel your people. And he revealed to me everyone here, everyone that exists, no matter their persuasion, their background, their experience, these are all my people.
Wow.
So
Wow.
here I
Yeah, and I was thinking about that because so well, I want to talk about the peace of mind, and the reason I talk about that because we know that pandemic, I was going to say pre-pandemic, but pre-pandemic probably, therapy had become kind of a popular it's becoming more common, I guess, if you will, getting counseling, seeing a counselor. I think sometimes even to the point of saying it loosely, you know what I mean,
Mhm,
to make excuses for life choices or distractions. But what I
mhm.
would like you to talk about is pretty much during the pandemic, there was a lot of people that suffered. And how do you, really dive into saying, I'm a Christian, but an atheist may come sit on your couch or or may meet you virtually or whatever. And you're like, how do you handle that?
I would say again, grace and the Holy Spirit. I think that the pandemic, or the onset of the pandemic, allowed counseling to be acceptable, where there was still a great deal of stigma against managing mental health concerns, whether they be acute concerns such as schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, or whether they
Mm,
be minor or softer concerns, such as anxiety or adjustment disorders, or major depressive disorder. I think it just allowed it to be more acceptable, right? Because it wasn't just that aunt, that uncle, that cousin. You were now faced as an individual who was uh, high functioning, or a productive member of society. You now face low mood, and you didn't know how to get out of it, or anxiety, you didn't know how to get out of it.
yeah.
And I believe that, what I mentioned before, God's people, it doesn't matter what your belief is. And when you consider, if you study therapeutic theory, and you look at the foundations and where this information is coming from, they're just explaining biblical truths, in my opinion. That's what God has told me.
Yeah.
That's what God has shown me. And so the way that God presented it to me, because I was really wrestling with that in the beginning, how do I take science and faith? I'm not going to say religion, I'm going to say faith, because
Yeah.
it's a relationship, right? It's a spiritual walk. How do I reconcile the two? And God told me that science, the world, is just figuring him out. We say things therapeutic,
Mm,
you have to reframe negative thought disorders, and identifying negative thought disorders. And the Bible tells us that we need to take capture of those thoughts, right? And renew our minds daily. Therapeutically, we say we reframing our negative thought disorders, right? To
yeah.
something that is within truth. So it's what God has shown me through the years, is that nearly every intervention, there's a biblical foundation there. Just go look for it.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and just dive into having that peace of mind. And we know that the scripture tells us, thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. But I do believe that, and from experience, because I have sat on Natalie's couch, as a matter of speaking, and had the privilege to allow God to have some healing. So highly recommend it. And the website is below. But I would like to talk about just when you've had those disruptions in your life. When do people know that they need to actually tap into saying, you know what, I need some therapy. I need to go to see a counselor.
sadly and honestly, when they behave in a way that is outside of their character is most often when they have that angry outburst, when they have that meltdown at an inappropriate time, whether it be in the conference room at work or whether it be with the grocery store attendant, or whether it's a moment of I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go to sleep
Mhm.
and not wake up, or I want to go to sleep and everything be right in the world. How can I make it through? Really, and I describe that as emotional chaos, right? We're not settled. And it, a phrase that has popped up during this season um, of health and wellness is it's okay to not be okay, right? And recognizing that you're not okay. For many people, I think
Praise
it's
everybody.
important.
Yeah.
I think right now it's important for us to maybe walk into that backwards and recognize first, when are we okay? How do we feel? What do we
Mhm.
think? What are we able to do? Right? And take that information and allow that to be our guidepost and say, am I still engaging in any of those behaviors that say I am okay? Or do I find myself saying, I'm fine. No, it's okay. No, it'll be all
Yeah.
right. In that high
Yeah.
pitched sort of voice
Oh yeah, when
that
you
goes
start singing, I say when you start singing it, you know it's something that is like not quite right. Like if you got to sing your words, I wanna stop right there and say that one of the things you said is okay to not be okay, but really, so many of us, and I'm guilty as charged, actually um, keep it moving that your
on.
norm is probably not okay. So then when it is a crash, it's like, oh, I thought I was okay all this time when you can't function the same way. Because I know even with myself, if things start, I'm used to doing a lot, but if things just start, my norm seems to be not okay. Probably my norm might not have been okay all along. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, we need to consider whether or not we truly have peace with what our norm is. Peace being, I've described it as the okay. There's uncertainty there, but you can walk it out and walk through it, right? Do you have peace? Do you feel like you can attend to your own needs? Um, are you doing little things like renewing your driver's license on time, right? So that
Ooh.
are you doing things like actually brushing your teeth and washing your face, or are you rolling out of bed and kind of running through the day? Are you able to sit back and recall conversations with joy and with consideration and mindfulness, or are you obsessing about those conversations? Are you having
Mm,
racing thoughts? Do you wake up with anxiety heavy on your chest? Um, for some people, they don't describe it as anxiety. Some people call it a dread or a weight of some kind. Are you receiving quality sleep? The other thing that I think folks need to pay attention to is their bodies. Our as a man thinketh, so he is in so many ways. It's not just how we feel emotionally, but as well as the aches and pains within our body. Sometimes
mm.
our body is saying, hey, yellow
Yeah.
flag, red flag, and we're just going, oh no, it's fine, I'll just tuck that flag away. But we're having GI issues, we're having increased aches and pains, we are a little bit more forgetful at times. We're asking others to repeat themselves in the course of conversations. We're a bit more irritable and agitated. So our bodies are telling us
Talking
we're
about me right now. That's all I have to say, girl. Stop talking about me.
yeah, and I think it's so important to unplug is the way I'll phrase it, whether that plugging is from for many of us, social media, put it down. Put
Yeah,
it down.
yeah,
Whether it be with engaging with people in which we have challenging relationships with, or they have concerns and they're pulling on us, you
yeah,
know, with regard to our resources, we might need to shrink and just take a moment to keep
yes,
yourself, body, mind, and spirit. And you, as an individual, have to figure out what that looks like for you. So,
right.
for some, I may suggest that, you know what, you need to go sit near the lake, read a book, go for a jog. But for me, that may be watching back to back episodes of Good Times. And then I'm good, I'm recharged. Figure out what you need to do in order to recharge self.
So when you say that, so I and this is what people say. Sometimes those power naps give us just what we need, like a even if you fell asleep for 10 minutes, it's like a little boost. So what would you say is like the mental boost? Like you said, some are different than others, like good times or watching a
Mhm.
TV show or what binging on a series or something like that, or actually getting away from it all. Like for me, I love to go fishing. I haven't been in a minute. But I love to sit by the water, even though I'm constantly checking for fish. But I my cell phone, I can forget about it. I don't
Mhm.
care about any of that if I'm away or on vacation. And some of us don't get to afford to walk away. And that's the
Mhm.
part that I wanted you to speak to. Sometimes people don't get to walk away. And
So
and
I'm
I know many people that don't. So
so I'm going to say what people don't want to hear and what is not popular. And that is we attend to what we feel like is priority. And as Christians, we walk a fine line with servicing God, with ministry, as well as people in our families. And we will sometimes forget that in order to do all that we have stewardship over, we must care for self. Jesus spent time away from the
yeah,
disciples. He said, I'll be back. Peace out. And there were times when they would look around and be like, oh, where did he go? And he was with his father. And he taught us that even as a child, he went to his father's house. His family were looking for him. They were like, well, what happened to him? Where's the boy?
yeah,
And he said, I need to go spend. And that was at 12,
yeah.
right?
But we
So
teach our just to hear to stop pause right there to say we teach, our kids how to be. And I will say that because even if they're watching us and we're looking at them and we're frustrated because they are not focused or because they have been distracted or whatever, I think they're just probably repeating what they see their parents do.
I agree. And we also teach people how to treat us, right? If I teach, an associate that it's okay to call me at all hours of the day and night, and I will answer and I will respond and I will be there for every encounter, then when I don't, they have an issue with that.
Yes.
It's the same thing. We say to them things like, well, read a book. Oh, well, why aren't you spending time with friends? Or, oh, how about you do this? And what about this? We teach them the world teaches us to be busy and multitasking, that we can do it all. And we can do a great number of things. I'm not saying that we can't, but we need to be mindful about how we would like to show up and move in the world. Many
Mm,
of us don't realize that this emotional discord that we have, the unfulfillment that we have, it's because we're not walking or moving in this world the way that one we were created to, or one in a way that brings us true peace. And I'm not saying that we need to be out here and be callous towards one another. I just think that we need to just be more mindful. Take a moment, unplug, figure out how you need to show up in the world, what gives you peace about showing up in the world. And I'm staying away from the words joy and happiness, because I feel like peace is a part of those things. And life happens, and
yeah.
life is unfair. We're still going to have certain challenges. We're still going to be related to certain people, and have to work certain jobs and things like that, and have certain accountability and responsibility. That just doesn't seem fair, but we need to be settled and find peace within that. Peace is, I'm going to be okay. I don't like it. I don't dislike it, but I can be okay. And that's also similar to the definition that I of acceptance that I teach people. I don't have to like it or dislike it. This is just a fact. How do I want to move forward in life?
Yeah.
Because staying here in this emotional chaos is not healthy for me.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's a Selah moment. Pause, breathe, exhale, and take it all in. I'm gonna just switch it up a little bit before we start sharing, what people can expect when they, reach out to charisma therapy. But I wanted to say, what do you do personally, even as a therapist? Because the phrases say this, and I didn't clone it, but every coach needs a coach, every counselor needs a counselor, every therapist needs a therapist, every pastor needs a pastor. What do you
Mhm.
do personally to just recharge? Because I have talked to probably more therapists and counselors that are running themselves raggedy,
Mhm.
also from pouring out so much. And so I just
Yeah.
want to know, what do you do personally? When do you know too?
When I'm a bit more forgetful is when I know, right? When I hear myself saying, "Oh, my apologies, sorry about that," then I know that I'm tripping up. It's almost like walking and
Yeah.
feeling fatigued, and so you begin tripping. So that's what it's like for me. I have to shrink and keep life small. I can't necessarily engage with friends too much, because that's just who I am. Because then my heart is there with them in therapy. There is a heart connection. There's for me anyway, and my people, there's a heart connection. There's a spirit connection, and so I have to be fully present and engaged for them. But also seeking therapeutic counsel myself, seeking consultation, because there are some things that are not appropriate for me to address with my therapist. I need to seek my peers and say, hey, this is a complicated situation with clients that I may have. And what do you think? As well as getting insight from them during our conversations, not just about my stuff, but their stuff as well. Connection with friends throughout the lifespan, if at all possible. I say connect with those friends that allow you to laugh with your mouth all the way open. People can see the back of your teeth. We all need some of that peace, right? Reminds us of who we are,
Yes.
and as well as our partners. If we have a spouse, we're in a committed relationship, try to make space to love on one another, allow them to love on you, because we need a place where we can come and just be
Yeah.
ourselves, in all of our messiness. Sometimes people, I think, can forget that clinicians, and I'm going to use the term clinicians to include nurses, doctors, therapists, coaches,
Yes.
social workers, psychologists. They see us kind of set apart, but we have to remember that we are all people. And although
Yes.
God loves us, although we may be Christian, we are still all a hot mess. We are still fickle. We still battle with our flesh. We still become vulnerable. And so
Hmm.
we need to attend to those things. We're people. And we need to be in a place sometimes where we can have, you mentioned earlier, that mommy moment. What are you all doing in there? Sit down somewhere,
Yes.
right? Or um, laugh again, dance with our spouse, with our children, and just
Yes.
be.
And just be. Wow. Well, you guys, if you have joined us, we are going to definitely do a replay of this. But if you have joined us just now, we are with the counselor therapist, Natalie Allen, the beautiful Natalie Allen. So our last few moments, I just would like for you to share, what can people expect as they call and come and make an appointment at charismatherapy.org? What,
Okay.
what, what can they expect from you?
Absolutely. The first thing I would say is wisdom. We will reach out to you. We do have a few clinicians working with us, but there's just such a need right now. And we're not arrogant enough to believe that we are the only counselors on the face of the planet. So and when I say wisdom, I mean, we want to have a brief consultation with you to find out what area of support do you think you need in your life right now, and help you to discern whether or not we're able to meet that need. Because it's not just a you coming to find me and I'm the perfect fit. I may not be, and I may refer you. You can also, so there's wisdom there. And we're also going to talk to you and teach you about other things in terms of the process of counseling. And I would like to add that at least coming to Charisma Therapy Associates, expect some homework. um,
Yes.
folks folks don't always expect that or anticipate that with counseling. Counseling is not about us telling you what to do with your life and saying, here's a problem, we take it and we fix it. No, it's about understanding you, what your world looks like, how you're currently moving in your world, what brought you to this place and season of your life, how you want to show up in the world, ideally in a healthy way. We use that word healthy quite a bit. And then how to move forward in a healthy way. Recognizing the world may tell us no, but it's important to understand the best way as an individual how to cope with that no that the world tells us. So
Wow.
you're going to get wisdom, you're going to get understanding, you're going to get strategic thinking. If appropriate, you're going to get prayer. I say that, appropriateness, because not everyone wants it, like you said. We have counseled, I'll speak for myself, I have counseled specifically atheists, Buddhist, um, Wiccan, all sorts of folks. I just try to stay prayed up, and I'm praying for the people that we do encounter so that it is a good fit. And if it's not a good fit, then God meet that need for them, because it may not be us.
Yes. Wow. Charismatherapy.org. And you do take insurance.
We do accept insurance. We're in network with Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO. If you do have an HMO plan, we'll have to have a conversation about that, because we're not in network with all of the HMO plans, United Healthcare, as well as Cigna.
All right. Oh, that's so
And
exciting. So exciting. Yes. And I look, so many people ask me, they say, do you take insurance? Do they take insurance? Do they take insurance? And I'm so grateful to refer you guys to charismatherapy.org, where your needs will be met. We believe God will meet you there, and Miss Natalie is there, Mrs. Natalie there, to allow the Lord to use her to get you to that healthy place so that you can have peace of mind. Thank you so much for sharing today, Natalie.
most welcome, Neesha. Thank you for having me. This is a beautiful ministry. Keep it going, and praying that all needs are met, all provision is met within your ministry.
Thank you so much. I love that you said it's ministry, because I do believe it is. Well, until next time, you guys, we are going to continue with Marriage Madness on next week. You guys, me and Wes, the whole month of August, we are talking to couples to get them ready for the getaway. You'll hear testimonials and different things like that. And I think my sister friend Natalie Ellen is gonna, maybe her and Jason may join us this year. Hopefully.
Yeah.
It's a good hope. Yeah. So you guys, until next time, please share this. Please share this video, and please this live, and please, by all means, go to charismatherapy.org. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much today, Natalie. Have an amazing day, girl.
Same to you. Love you guys. Bye.
Connect and vibe, 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 connect and vibe.